This message feels straight from the source, straight from angels. Uh, it's got so many layers to it, and so I'm excited to try to unpack it. I'm also very, I don't know, proud, because I try and avoid pride. Very content with myself for like sitting down and doing this. Today, the energy has just felt like, let me know in the comments if you guys are feeling that. It's been very strange. So I've just been moving with it. It's also like very stormy here in Portugal. And like it's that time of my cycle and whatnot, but I also feel like it's a collective thing. Like we are, what was it? We just had the new moon. We're moving into that whole that new cycle of energy, and so I think that there's probably more. I'm not so up to date at this moment with like the 3i Atlas and like things of that sort and of that nature. But the message, this is separate, but one of the messages that I've shared in a couple videos recently is that when I was on the beach a few days ago, there was this message that came through that has continued to come through, where it's like, it's almost like there's an energy beneath the surface that is rising now to meet you all, and like life will never look the same kind of thing. And then I keep getting, you know, this image and this confirmation of the flash. And I don't know like much about this theory of the flash other than like the basics of it, which is like people, there has been discussion about this topic of there being like a massive flash of light that then wakes up consciousness. And just I had confirmation when I was like talking with my guides, and I was like, okay, well, is that what's happening? Is that what's about to happen? Is that what is emerging? And I was getting yes, yes, yes. And then I was kind of being shown this other part, which is related to the message today, which is like, okay, so even if it's just like a second of this flash, like if there was a major flash of light and energy on all the illusions, all the distortions of truth, all the darkness here, that those illusions and distortions and darkness would forever be changed. They would forever have been exposed. And like once you see the truth of, like for example, of someone, when somebody shows you their true nature, you never forget it. You never ever forget it. And then you start to see very clearly how they like try and play this whole thing to like bring themselves back into this like positive reputation, whatever it is. That's an example. But you'll always know the truth about them. It's the same thing with like this light exposing the darkness. It's like once you see the truth, it's like there's no going back. There's no distorting it in the way that it was distorted before. You would literally have to like wipe the memory of those who witnessed it for that to continue on. And so I do feel that something of that sort is happening or emerging, almost like a volcano, but like a volcano of light. But also it's like it seems like there's a lot of geographical, is the right word? Geographical events, like the freeze in Texas, and like it could just be all hype and fear and whatnot, but it's like, get all you need. And I heard that the stores are running out of milk and probably toilet paper and all those things. So if you're in Texas or the areas that are affected, let me know in the comments. I want to hear from you and your experience and what you are feeling about that. But yeah, just I think it's that. I think it's that there's just a lot happening right now, you know, whether that's a man-made storm or a real storm, Mother Earth responding. That was something else that was coming through, is like Mother Earth, you know, is very much alive, and she's, you know, communicating with us, and she has something to say, and that kind of thing too. So the light is shining on the dark. And if you read my most recent Substack, it was very much about this. So you can go ahead and read that if you would like. Don't read it if you are planning on reading the Throne of Glass series, and Tower of Dawn is specifically the book that I was referring to in that article, in that letter, which is the 7th book. And so I really liked that book, and I won't go into details. because I already gave spoilers in one of my recent videos, but like it talks a lot about healing and energy work and facing the darkness and bringing light to the darkness and what light really is. And light really is love, the frequency of love. And feeling the frequency of love is peace. Like you don't have to prove, you don't have to fight the darkness, you don't have to do any of that. It's essentially coming home. Home to your truest self, home to the truth, past the illusions, past the darkness. So that's how we kind of arrived here. It's like I was in meditation yesterday and I was doing something different. It wasn't like mindful meditation. It was just kind of like, what is the right word? Not pondering, but it was like contemplation kind of. And I was just eyes closed and going on the journey. It was more than contemplation. I was going into the tightness of my neck, like just focusing on the tightness of my neck and just like being aware and accepting and not trying to change it, just accepting. Just like, okay, show me what you want to show me. And it was like memory after memory after memory after memory. And I was like, wow, there's so much here. I love doing that. If you don't do that, it would be kind of like a somatic thing, but like in yoga, whenever I would feel, when I am in a yoga class, but I used to do this more in California when I would go to classes, but like I would feel a tightness and we'd be holding the pose and then I would just go into it and just like watch the memory. And then as I would watch it and just observe it, then the pain would go away. So I was sitting here yesterday, I think, and I was observing all the memories, just observing. I was just being that presence, just being that light. And by being that light, you expose the illusions of everything that is stored in that memory. And so it was like these times that like maybe there was the feeling of shame or embarrassment. It was like when I was younger and like more wild and like all these things. And I was like, okay. And it kind of like that, those memories were like, what, you don't want to like call me horrible or like whatever? No. And by the end there, like I received so much release. Also, it's I said it's stormy, so if you hear all the rain right now and the wind, it's like picking up at the moment, which I actually love. But yeah, so as I was doing that, I was visiting times in my memories where I was just I was seeking something. In all these memories where there was like maybe shame or embarrassment of that time, there was that time, the truth of what was happening is that I was seeking comfort. I was seeking to be soothed. I was seeking home. I was trying to find home. Really, like that was something that I was searching for my entire childhood, and maybe that resonates with some of you guys, but it's like my entire childhood, my entire teenagehood, I felt very foreign here. I felt very out of place, and I felt like I had all these needs, especially being like a highly sensitive being in this physical form, which is a gift. But at that time, it was like I didn't have the tools to navigate it. And so I was, just trying to be accepted by others, trying to, all these things, but really I was abandoning myself. And I learned that, in relationships, like closer relationships, that I almost felt a sense of being soothed when, choosing people who typically would have like narcissism or be full-blown narcissists or have like strong manipulation tendencies or whatever. And I didn't see it at the time because I was like so much engulfed in the darkness of that, which I do feel that that's like darkness, that's like service to self entities in there, in those beings. And they were ultimately always just using me. And that's what happens in those dynamics, is like they see something of value in this person and they will grab it, and then they will use all these other tactics, the love bombing, the blah 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 blah. So it feels like love, and for a moment, for however long, it soothes that part of you that is seeking to go home, that is seeking to feel the love that you truly are. And it's like in this moment, I was just seeing those patterns, and I was seeing how that, you know, developed as a normal go-to in others and individuals and whatnot, and the path in which I was seeking to be loved and to be soothed, and that was the only way that I knew. And then I, you know, started to bring light to that pattern. And then I started to, you know, have the experience where I had gone so far in this, and I saw all these different versions of myself who then experienced this acceptance from me. And so then I sat with all of them and I said, you know, I truly love you. And this was like the breakthrough moment. Like, I think this is like the heart of this message, is like, I told those versions of myself, all versions of myself, I said, I am the only human being on earth who has ever seen and experienced every single thing that you have experienced. I am the only awareness that has been present for all of those things that you have stored as memories within you. And I love you. There is nothing that you have done, there is nothing that you could do that would make me stop loving you. And like that is self-love. That is unconditional love. That is truth. That is the big fucking light bomb that like illuminates all the shadows in you that have been feeding off of you hating yourself. And I don't think I hated myself. I just think that like anyone, we have this, what is it called? The body keeps a score. Like the body will continue to hold memories here and here and here and here. And of course, over time, as you do this work, you release more and more and more. That's why I went from being house ridden and like so chronically ill that I could not leave my house or have people enter my house. Like, I was so severely bloated, covered in acne and rashes, and like so sensitive to everything, EMF, foods, like clothing, perfumes, social media, like everything would cause symptoms for me. And so it was just because my body had reached a point where it was like overload. It was like, I cannot hold on to any of this anymore. So we can deal with some neck tightness, but just going to that place then, and then like having that experience. Okay, I've seen everything, every single decision that you've made, every mistake that you've made, every failure, every wrong turn. There are no wrong turns. I've been there, and I love you. I love all of it. That is like the most healing thing. And so if you've been in a life path, human experience, where you typically attract people that want something from you rather than love you, you attract narcissists, you attract manipulative people, you attract people who just don't want you to expand, don't want you to be your best self. That's part of being a light worker, but also you are the point of attraction. And so you shift that dynamic once you become familiar with what true love is. True love is unconditional love. True love is, I see you and I accept you. And it has to start with you and you. And you have to go to the depths of everything and meet all parts of yourself and say, I love you and accept you. All versions of you. All timelines of you, all ages of you, all decisions. And then you start to recognize it in the outside world. And instead of like coming across a narcissist and being like all, what is it? Like, oh, the sparks. I dated someone one time briefly in California. He actually told me, he's like, I didn't feel the spark. I was like, that's fine, I didn't either. We went on 2 dates. And we're very, very, very different. Very different. and I said, yeah, it's okay. I didn't feel the spark either, but I just want to share before we part ways that I've kind of come to learn that looking for the spark isn't really, I don't know how I worded it, like the most correct way to word it, but it's like, I pretty much said I don't look for sparks typically. because spark usually is something else. I look for safety. I look for a relationship that feels, I didn't say this to him, but it feels like home. And so that's the difference, is like if you're feeling that chemistry, like that strong chemistry and that spark, then that's probably going to be a lesson. And I don't think, I don't think that that's like just definite as it is. Like there's so much to that. I think you can have someone that feels like home and someone that feels safe, but also that has the passion and the deep love and whatnot. I think a lot of it depends on like your astrology and like whatnot. Like me being an Aries, there's a part of me where I'm like, I need that. That better be there. But there's another part of me that has grown so much that can really recognize when I meet somebody and I start feeling that like chemistry, or I start feeling like what would have been like a spark, it's my body having anxiety. And it's my body telling me that that is their energy is of the pattern of somebody who wants something from me, not somebody who can deeply love me and accept me, and not somebody who's deeply loved and accepted themselves. You can feel into that, like when somebody has met those parts of themselves, or they're looking for someone else to soothe them so that they don't have to, so that they don't have to meet those parts of themselves. It's such a deep one, but there's so much freedom in this. There's so much freedom in this. And I think that ever since being in Ireland and living in the hay barn for months by myself with my animals, my body is like I don't know, it's like hyper sensitive, which is great. But like I have these cues now where when someone like sits down with me or something and they want to talk, and I get this like reaction. I start sweating a lot if they just like, if their energy is just not something that I, feel safe around. Like my body tells me real quick. And I've been honoring that, which has been such a beautiful experience, I think. I just posted something on my Instagram story today where it was like the way to see if like how much you've healed or whatnot is like to see where you're no longer self-betraying. And I went out to go like see a music thing the other day, and I just went for like a quick thing. I don't drink right now, and so I was just kind of sitting there enjoying the music and like just taking in like the atmosphere. And then these people who were very kind, they came up, some guys, and they were like very drunk, and their goal was to get more drunk. Like they were very vocal about how they were gonna go bar hopping and everything, and like had invited me to go join them. And I was just like, there was an old version of me who would have, wanted to make connections, wanted to see more of the town, wanted to like be in the soothing comfort of other people rather than like the vulnerable rawness of my own company. And I would have said yes, even though my body was saying no. And in that moment, I was just like having this internal experience of like, I love myself. I know the value of my presence. I know that this would be betraying myself to even like go hang out with people who can't really connect right now because they're drunk and they're not here and they're not in their bodies. And like, this is not a valuable experience to me right now. What was more valuable was coming home and reading and being with my dogs. And then I woke up super early, naturally in the morning, and my HRV was super high. Like I had such a great evening and such a great morning because I honored that inner feeling that, those connections weren't of value to me, and they weren't going to serve the purpose of me wanting to surround myself with people that feel like home. If you constantly feel like you're seeking and you don't know what you're seeking, it could be that you are seeking home. You're seeking your home planet. You're seeking remembrance. You're seeking to just to find your way through these illusions and this chaos and like this insanity of this planet. And that makes a lot of sense. You are a light being, you came here and you agreed to all these things of forgetting and whatnot, and believing in the distortions and having all these karmic agreements and going through these hardships and whatnot. And now you're just like really trying to remember, you're trying to go home, and you can go home by doing this. I really feel that if you meet all parts of yourself, you love and accept all parts of yourself, you say, I've seen everything. There's nothing that you can hide. There's nothing that is hidden, and I love you. I fucking love you. And then you start making choices on your outside world that align with that love that you have for yourself, and your whole life will change. Everything will change. You will start showing up differently. You will start making decisions differently. You will start, scheduling your day differently. Someone who loves themselves takes care of themselves, does like the diet that works best with their body, does their exercise, figures out a meditation that works, whatever. And everything starts to shift. I've really been enjoying watching that since being here in Portugal. Is like how now that I'm out of that wild situation that Ireland was, and I'm in this house and like by the ocean and by so many wonderful things and wonderful people. Like I have met some really wonderful people, and I'm like deepening some connections that feel great. I've been watching how I've really started eating for my body and like focusing on the diet that works best with my body. And right now that is a low histamine diet. And that is not for everybody. Like there's no need to eat a low histamine diet unless you have things like mast cell activation syndrome or histamine intolerances. And so I've been doing that. I've been doing my brain retraining consistently every day. So brain retraining is how I healed a lot of this and how I met myself with that remembrance of love and abundance and safety. And so if you have a chronic illness and you want to do what I did, that is called 21 Days to Regulate Healed. That is my program where I show you how to brain retrain, and I walk you through it every single day. I also have 21 Days to Rewire Your Mind, which is similar, but it's not for chronic illness people. It's for anybody who wants to program in their mind and fire together new neurons of the desired timeline, the chosen timeline. And then, of course, Dream Life Sleep Hypnosis. I have other programs too, other 21-day programs and 12-week programs. But Dream Life Sleep Hypnosis, so powerful. So powerful. My dream last night, I love telling you guys about my dream. I made a new one, a new Dream Life Sleep Hypnosis, where if you don't know, it's where you use the frequency of your own voice to program in your dream life, and then your subconscious blocks start to unravel while you're sleeping, because it's offering a mirror, like it's brain mirroring. There's a lot of stuff to that, and it's fascinating. So last night my dream was this girl that I know, like internet friend, who lives in Italy. She came to where I was living. I was living in my old office when I had a 9 to 5. It's like this sterile environment, and I was just in my own office, and that was my room. I think I had a bed, I don't know, but that was like where I was living. And there were people who were definitely like of the lesson type of energy, who were trying so hard to get my attention and just like freaking out because I would not give them my attention. And I was so focused on her because she was very much in alignment with what is in my Dream Life Sleep Hypnosis. Like she is living the life of and the caliber of an existence of like what I'm manifesting. And so I was trying to take notes from her, and I was like so grateful that I was like spending time with her, even though it was like in my sterile environment of an office and room, and like there was all these annoying people like trying to get my attention. But the way that I felt about it was that I really am in alignment. It's so perfect with this message, because it was like, she came to me, she chose to spend time with me, and she was like giving me all this value of like how to get to that point of what I'm manifesting and like the steps to take. And I was like so focused on her, and I consciously was like, don't pay attention to those people, don't pay attention to like the circumstances of living in a sterile office, like just focus on what she's telling you. Just focus on the steps. Focus on like the peace that she embodies because she's living in this timeline. And so that was really like part of this message, where it's like, don't give energy to those who don't align with the feeling of what it is that you truly desire, the timeline where you feel most at peace, most joy, most abundance, most health. If your attention is your most valuable thing that you have on earth, more valuable than anything else. Companies pay so much money to get your attention. Like, just think about that. That is what companies are paying for with all this advertising and, YouTube ads and influencer ads and blah, blah, blah. Like, people just want to put their things in front of your face to make more money. They want your attention. This darkness, this service to self entity, like the people who have not faced themselves and met themselves on all levels, they are, in ways I feel infiltrated by service to self entities to some extent, and the darkness feeds off of them being asleep. And so those service to self entities, they want your attention. They want your attention, and for you to believe in the illusion of them that they will soothe and fix your problems. When you start putting your attention on the timeline, the life that you desire, when you start putting your attention on the frequency of love and acceptance, when you start putting your attention on what truly sparks your joy, what truly sparks your curiosity, who truly inspires you, what truly makes you better, what truly gets you moving in the right direction, what systems have to be built in order to support that life that you're moving towards? What things are taking away from the attention that you need in order to do that? What people? Start taking inventory. And that's how you change your whole life. That is how you make your life feel like home. That is how you come home to yourself. That is how you bring the remembrance of who you truly are down here on earth. You bring heaven to earth. You don't have to seek anymore because you just feel. You don't have to seek the peace. You are the peace. You don't have to seek the joy. You remember the joy. I love this message. Let me know in the comments if you did as well. And all my programs linked below. Let me know in the comments if you have anything to share on this message. If you don't know what to say, you want to say something, please put a wolf emoji. We love wolves here, a lot of wolf energy. If you really want to support this channel, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you are new here. And if you really love me, you will press the hype button, which I just learned about recently. So that helps my channel, helps me get pushed out to people, helps the notifications start popping up again, because we've been in hiding for a little while for some reason. The darkness. I don't know. But I think that is all that I have for you guys today. I love you so much, and I will see you in the next video.